Hello everyone, I'm recording this for students of mine in MIS3502. This is the first video I'm recording for the start of the semester here, and as you can see here I am on the MIS community site for this course. Multiple sections of the course running, of course, but everybody's site should look something like this. And the purpose of my video here is going to be to just walk through what should be some really familiar territory for you all. That is just making sure the Visual Studio Code is installed, and making sure that you create a Amazon S3 bucket for you to store your web pages. And we'll be doing, of course, more work with both Visual Studio Code and Amazon resources as the semester wears on, but this is a really good place to start. I also am going to share with you an extension, a Visual Studio Code extension that I don't think you've encountered before, and I do that because I believe it will make everybody's experience that much better this semester. So this is definitely for your benefit. Okay? So that the new stuff is meant to make your life better, not worse. All right, so let's get going. I have here the community site for the class. I have announcements, schedule, about, and so on. But resources is the tab I want to draw your attention to. This page contains links to resources students may need to download during the semester. And I will definitely add new material here as the semester wears on. But for right now, I just want you to know that if you need to install Visual Studio Code, and you're wondering, well, how do I do that? There's a link to it right here on the class site. You could Google it just as well, but that takes you to the downloads page for Windows, and you can, whether you're on a Mac or PC, you can grab your installer from there. Now, if you already have Visual Studio Code installed from a prior semester, you don't need to install it again. Just keep what you have, right? Don't make things more complicated than they need to be. So if you already have it from an earlier semester, that's what you should use. I do want to draw your attention though to one thing. I want to create a folder here on my desktop that's going to hold all of my MIS3502 work for the semester. Actually, quite a lot of our work will be just stored directly right out into S3, but it's nice to have a place locally set up as well, at least initially. So let's do that right now. So on my PC here, I'm going to go all the way down into the left-hand corner. I'm going to right mouse click on the Windows icon and click File Explorer. On a Mac, you would go into the upper right-hand corner, do a spotlight search, and search for the Finder, right? So in the parallel universe that is the Mac operating system, you have the Finder. Here I have the File Explorer. They serve basically the same purpose on the two platforms. Okay, I'm going to put my folder out on drive C. So I've got this PC, drive C, and I have some junk out there from earlier semesters. But I'm just going to right click and make a new folder, and I will call that new folder MIS3502 workspace. Now, you can create that on your desktop if you want to. You can create that in your documents folder if you want to. Every student should know where their MIS3502 workspace is, though, right? No one should have to go fishing around on their own computer saying, oh, where is my work? I don't know where my work is. Let me go try to find it. And I do see sometimes students doing like a lot of work in their downloads folder. Like I give them a download, they unzip it, it unzips into the download folder, and they could just keep working there. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's kind of sloppy for starters, and sometimes you'll find that permissions in the downloads folder are different than the file permissions elsewhere, and that can mess you up later on. I usually see Mac users make that mistake. Just saying. So there's MIS3502 workspace. I created that on drive C. Of course, when I sort this, it'll come up to the top here. There's my folder, and that's all I want to do with the File Explorer. All right. So now I'm getting ready to go into Visual Studio Code. All right, here I go. Opening up Visual Studio Code. You're going to see something similar to this when you open up VS Code. You might have something open from an earlier semester or some prior effort. Click on File and Close Folder. There'll be a Close Folder down there if you need to do that. But I'm here on the Getting Started page. I want to open up that folder that I just made. So that would be either clicking on this big Open Folder link right here, or I could click on File, Open Folder, and go navigate to my C drive that's on this PC and go find MIS3502 workspace and select the folder. All right, now I'm getting ready to get to work, right? So I don't need all this getting started material anymore. I would like to make a new folder inside of a folder, right? So I have some icons here. So I'm going to click on the new folder icon here. I will call this folder Hello World, all one word, all lowercase. Don't put a space. Don't put spaces in your file names. Don't put spaces in your folder names. Hey, Mac users, I'm talking to you. It seems like that is another thing that users of Apple products like to do. I like to put in a lot of extra punctuation and spaces. I'm saying, please don't do that. And the reason I say that is because having just simple text, all the same case without any extra punctuation makes a lot of hard, tricky problems go away. Just a little tip there. Now I'm going to right-click on that folder that I just created and choose a new file. I will call it index.html. And now I'm ready to edit that file. So far, so good, right? Nothing crazy. I'm going to click on or type into my text box here a paragraph tag and then the text hello world for the lack of anything more original to say. This is not good HTML. This is bad HTML. I didn't do a doc type declaration. I didn't do the body tag. I didn't do the HTML document tag. I skipped a bunch of stuff, but this is good for sake of testing. Okay. That's about it. That's about it for Visual Studio Code at the moment. Let me just draw your attention to one thing, though. Over here on the left, I have my Explorer, and I have this extensions icon over here. If you do the same thing, you may have one or more extensions that you've installed, again, in an earlier semester. I have the Open in Browser extension, right? That lets me click use Alt B to open in browser. So I could like come over here and do Alt B, and it opens up. Oh, I even made a typo. Look at that. Hello, I didn't even type world correctly. Wow, it's going to be a long semester. Let me fix that. Hello world. That's better. Save it. All right, so if you don't have that, don't worry about it. You won't really be able to use that very well this semester. You may have no extensions enabled at all, and that's okay. But I'm going to come back there later on. Okay. All right. So with this little bit of work done, I'm now going to go over to the AWS console and make a storage bucket for all of my MIS3502 content. Okay, so let's do that. I'll start by going to my Chrome installation here. I'll type in AWS console because I can never remember the URL. And I'm going to go to, the AWS Management Console. That sounds right. And I'm going to click on Sign into the console. Now, this assumes that you still have an account from a prior semester that's available to you. If you don't, you will need to create one. Okay. I will be getting Amazon credit for all of my students so that you won't have to pay for anything related to the course. Okay? So, let me just pause here and say, then I will ask you to provide your Amazon account ID. That is identified right up here in the upper right hand corner. I will ask you to give me this number. That's my account ID. Don't give me my account ID. Give me your account ID. And also the email address that you used to provision the account. You have a choice. You can either use the AWS login that you used in a prior semester, or my account is registered to my first name dot last name email address. So I have it as jeremy.schaefer@temple.edu. That's what I use to register my account. So if you want a completely separate account, you can use your first name. You can use your first name dot last name email address at Temple. I just want it to be an @temple.edu address. All right. So please provide me with. I'll be asking you to give this to me. I want you to give me the email address you used to sign up for AWS. So something @temple.edu and your account ID, right, which will look like that. Okay, once you give me those things, I'll be able to assign to you some promotional credit that'll cover all of your Amazon cloud expenses for the semester. And if you don't give me the number, then you end up getting billed. So I want to avoid that, right? All right. I'm ready to go to S3 now. S3 shows up under recently visited sites, or if it didn't, I could click View All Services and pick through that list and find S3. That's what I want. And I'm going to create a bucket. I have a bucket hanging out here from some earlier testing, so I'm going to quickly delete that. One moment. So I deleted that bucket, and now I don't see that list anymore. I just see this welcome page with this great big orange Create Bucket button. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to create my bucket. Now, I want all my students to name their buckets in the same way. I want all my students to name all their buckets in the same way. So everyone should name their bucket MIS3502 dash and then some variation on your name. All right, so I'm going to choose Schaefer. All right, you can have it be first name, your last name, your first name, middle initial, what have you. Choose a US East region, and we're going to scroll on down here, and we want to we're going to want to make this bucket public. So I want to allow public access. That means I uncheck this, and then I have to acknowledge that I have done this crazy thing. So I acknowledge that, yes, I understand that this bucket is going to have public contents, and that's about it. So I'm going to come down here and hit Create Bucket, and now I have created the bucket, and it says that the access can be public, but it's not public yet. So I will want to add in a rule that's going to allow this contents of this bucket to be publicly accessible. So let's see if we can do that. I'm going to click on the name of my bucket, and I'm going to go to permissions, and I want to go put a bucket policy in here. Where is the bucket policy? Well, remember that resources page I had up here earlier? The one that was for MIS3502. This one. So there's my bucket policy. So I've got two tabs going, right? I want to put my bucket policy in here. So that means I click on this and open this up. Copy that, and yours will probably look like that. Copy that, and we'll put that into here. Hit edit and paste. Now I'm not quite there yet because the bucket name needs to be the bucket Amazon resource. So I'm going to click this copy, and again right click and paste. So there you go. I took the bucket policy that I gave you here on the community site, and I copy pasted that into this policy, and then I made sure that the resource being referenced was me. All right, and if I move my little avatar down there, I'm going to click on Save Changes, and if I've done everything right, it will accept that. And it says I successfully edited the bucket policy. And here we go. So now, let me come back up here and go back to buckets. And you can see that this access is now public, saying, hey, look at the red triangle there, saying, hey, watch out. Anything you put in here is available over the internet. All right, let's see what else we can do. I'm going to click on Schaefer, and I'm going to make a folder. And the folder is going to have the word Hello World, or the folder name will be Hello World. And I'm going to be careful to spell Hello World correctly this time. Hello World. I'm going to create my folder. And I'm going to go into Hello World. And I'm going to now upload that index.html file that I made just a few minutes ago. So I'm going to click Upload. And I'm going to add a file from my C drive. I'm going to add that index.html file and hit Upload. And it says that it succeeded. Close that. So I'm going to click on Properties, and I can see that this is where everything is. I'm going to click on index.html, and now I have an object URL. This is what I want from you to prove that you've done this, right? So copy, paste and go, and there I am. Yay! But wait, it gets even better. So what I'm about to do now is I'm about to connect Visual Studio Code to this bucket so that I can make edits in Visual Studio Code without having to go all the way back here into the Amazon console to copy and paste or upload or otherwise fuss around with getting that file uploaded. Okay, wouldn't that be great? So to do that, I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code. This is right where I left off. Right, so I had this, and I'm going to go to that Extensions tab that I mentioned before, and I'm going to search for AWS Toolkit. That's my resources. This is my extension that's going to allow me to connect to AWS resources. It has a little Amazon smiley logo there. Click Install. It says it's installing, and then the installation is complete, and you can see that now on the left-hand menu here I have an AWS icon. So if I were to go over, so this is my Explorer, these are my extensions, AWS, and you can see that there's a space here for me to somehow navigate through Amazon resources, but I'm not connected to it yet. So that's going to be the next trick. Figure out because obviously, hopefully it's obvious, Amazon wouldn't want to just open this up to anybody. So I need to somehow identify or authenticate as me, so Amazon knows that I have rights to make edits to this page. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go to View, Command Palette, and I can start typing in AWS create credentials. Now, I've been here before, so it showed up at the top of my list. But create credentials profile is what I want. Yours will probably be farther on down in the list. Click on there, and then you can see I'm being asked to provide some long, strange identifier. It's creating a new profile called default, and I need something called an AWS access key, and then there will be a corresponding password. And of course, this is just an example. You see it has this example there. Let's go find it. Let's go find the access key and credentials that I will need to do this. So I'm going to go, I'm keeping this open, right? I'm going to go back to Chrome, back to my Amazon session. And to get the access key, it's really an access key not just to my S3 bucket, but to my whole Amazon account. So that's going to be up here underneath the menu icon in the upper rightmost corner. Click on that down arrow, go down to Security Credentials, and if I scroll down here, you can see that there's an option here for access keys. Now, I already have a key left over from yesterday. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to pause the recorder here for just a second. There we go. This will be more like what you have. You have no access keys, none. All right, so I want to make one. So I will click Create Access Key, and this is not, this is not a kind of a industry grade alternative to identity access management, but I think it's great for students. So I understand this, and I'm going to create that access key, and I got the access key here, so I can click that copy icon, and I'm going to go put that into here with a paste and press enter, and then it's going to ask me for the secret key, AWS secret key, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm not going to show it. I'm just going to click copy and come up here and hit paste and enter. And now I have, under my AWS Explorer, I have these options, one of which is S3. And there's my bucket. And there's hello world. And there is index.html. And look at this. Right next to index.html, there's an edit icon. So I can click on that. And I can change that hello world to hello Schaefer and file and save, or I could hit Control S. And what just happened is that edit was saved and deployed out to my storage bucket. And I can check that by going all the way back to, where was I here? Here we go. Remember back here where it said hello world? I'm going to hit refresh. Now it's hello Schaefer. So I can do all of my edits through Visual Studio Code, and you can see that that process is pretty streamlined. I don't have to constantly upload and download things. Now, this is not quite as good as having full unfettered access to, say, a hard disk, but I can create folders from here. I can upload files directly into here from my hard disk without having to run out to Amazon. So that's as far as I wanted to get with this. So by virtue of following along with this video, you verify that you have your AWS account set up. You're going to give me your account number and the email address you used to request your account. You have Visual Studio Code set up, and you have this nifty new extension here that will help move things along for you as you work on projects in the class. So that's as far as I wanted to go in this video. I hope everybody's happy with that, and I will see you in class real soon. Have a good one.